About the mental and physical state of Joe Biden. In fact, the former president even had to use flashcards to recognize celebrities and lawmakers, like this one of Chuck Schumer, who's been in Congress since the early 1980s, or Hillary Clinton, who he once ran against and even worked with under Obama. And yes, even famous movie star Denzel Washington, all of those cards. Let's welcome conservative political analyst Elizabeth Pipko. Elizabeth, Trump, in my mind, does more in a day than Biden ever did in months. How can liberals be taken seriously on this issue?
Well, look, they can't, right? They lost all their credibility the last 4 years that we were watching Joe Biden literally shake hands with the air and get absolutely zero criticism. They can claim whatever they want about President Trump. I know that he's not only brilliant and healthy, but the best man for the job, but they can say whatever they want. The problem is they lost all credibility after they stood by and pretended that Joe Biden was the sharpest that they had ever seen him. He was not new to the scene, right? Joe Biden had been a politician for over 40 years, and they were pretending that Joe Biden, who didn't know how to get around his own White House, was the strongest Joe Biden they've ever seen, and they lost any sense of faith that their voters could ever have in them again.
And so when they realized that, Elizabeth, ironically, the mainstream media then began criticizing its own coverage of Biden. Listen to this.
We all saw it happening, and we all refused to see it.
But being truth tellers also means telling the truth about ourselves. We, myself included, missed a lot of this story.
The reason people were able to come to their own conclusion on Joe Biden is because of the media coverage.
Yeah, too little, too late. I tell you what, that mea culpa rings pretty darn hollow. What do you say?
Well, look, I was actually at that White House Correspondents' Dinner, which was that second clip that you just played, and I sat there and I couldn't believe my ears, because I thought to myself, are they now claiming that Joe Biden wasn't the competent president they all said that he was? But what they're doing is not apologizing. They're trying to rewrite history. They're saying that they actually missed it, when we know they didn't miss anything. They worked overtime so that the American people would miss it and they could sway an election. Unfortunately, rewriting history in 2025 is not going to work for them.
Yeah, credibility has to be out of the window, surely. And they continue to push Democrat ideas, which, in my mind, and we talked about this earlier in the show, seems to go against what is the consensus around the rest of the country. They're always on the wrong side of the issue.
Always. They find every single 80-20 issue, take the 20% side, and don't understand how they continue to lose voters around the country. It's like Donald Trump always says, I'm not conservative, I'm just common sense. It seems any sense of common sense went out the window, basically, in 2015 when Donald Trump ran, and they didn't know how to handle themselves anymore, how to be politicians, how to be journalists, and how to just be everyday civilized Americans. It's been really, really sad to witness the party of JFK fall this low, but between the media and the Democrats, it seems the Americans only have one side to pick at this point.
They certainly do. We'll have to leave it there, but great stuff. Elizabeth Pipko, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you.
And